morning. So I was driving this car, and as I'm driving, I kept hearing clunk clunk, like rattling when I come home last night as I'm hitting bumps and different things like that. So I said, let me check the sway bar bushings. And so got up on here to check the sway bar bushings, and let's see what I found. Okay, so when I got down here, what I saw was my bushings are a bit worn right here in this control arm, and it could be the way that I have the car jacked up with the wheel pressing downward. So I don't think it's the control arm. However, I tried to pry, put a bar up on here, and I tried to pry. I wasn't able to get it to move. It's still stiff, and I don't have any play in it. So then I came over here, up here, to my it's my tire rod. These are the tire rods that I just recently replaced. They're good to go. But then I came here to the sway bar, right? And I tried to pry here, and these are the sway bar links here. So I don't have any play prying by hand on this side. But then I came over to this side, right? These bushings are pressed down as well, which could be just how I have the car jacked up. Come here, guys. Which how I had the car jacked up, and the tire is just hanging down. I pried this side to get it play here. But then I went here, and I began to pry here. You hear that? Booyah. Look at that. That's loose. That right there is loose. And this one over here, look at that. It's not loose at all. There's no play. And so what I'm going to do over here is I am going to, that whole inside of here, inside of that sway bar link, it's not that this bolt is loose. Look, this whole bolt moves right here. Look, that whole ball joint, this is like a little ball joint thing, which keeps the car stable, the sway bar link. So this whole thing right here, the ball inside of here, if I loosen this, it moves around like a ball joint. This whole thing right here, look at that. That's the problem right there. This link inside of here is bad. See how that? Oh wait, it's loose. Wait a minute. This was coming loose. So it was loose. Look at that. By hand. Lordy, lordy. Lordy, lordy. But let's check something out. Let me pop this out of here. I tell you what, before I take it off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it back up, and I'm just going to drive with it tight. But that had a lot of, wow, that was coming actually loose. But here's the thing, when I tighten it back up, let me see, let me get my new one. See, here's my new one right here. See, this new one is actually I don't even have to do that. I just wanted to see if I was going to get the same type of noise if I tighten that bolt back up. But I'm going to replace it. Look at that. These have never been replaced. Let me see over here. Wow. Yeah, these have never been replaced. So I'm just going to zip off this bottom one, and let's see what size this bolt is. And I'm going to replace these and start from there. They have a lot of play in it. These new ones right here, there's really not much play in it. They're very stiff. So let me try that. Alright, so what I'm going to do before I'm going to change the stabilizer link from outside so that I can get a good leverage And gonna let this oil pan drip, 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 drip. Let the oil drain. I have not changed this oil. According to the documentation I have not changed this oil since 2023. Ain't that something? Okay. There we go. Ooh, do, 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 do. So, gonna sit my boat. I know that oil is so happy to be changed. I'm just gonna let that stay draining. Wowza. See, that's the oil. Can you see it? I accidentally cut the video. That's the oil filter right there. Something coming in this little hole down here. And what I need to do, as this oil is to start draining lighter, slide the pan back, because what it's gonna do is it's gonna drain from up there as well. So I can unscrew this by hand. Should be able to. Let's see. There we go. Yep. Woo. Okay. Gonna unscrew this by hand. And let that sit there. So got the new filter right here. I bought these ever since the last time I changed oil, 2023. Keep them in stock. And then screw this one on by hand. I like the grip at the bottom of the frame. That's hand tight. And I guess I'll just let this keep draining while I go put that stabilizer bolt on. And I just slide this back up. See? Simple. Oil change simple. All I got to do now is put the bolt back on, go get some oil, and then that'll be done. I went ahead and removed this wheel because it makes it easier for me to get straight to it, and I can get my impact wrench on it. And then with my impact wrench, let me turn this. Can I turn this wheel some? I may need an extension. I don't want to scrape. Wait a minute. Yeah, I got to get an extension because I'm going to scrape the bolt. See, with my impact wrench, I could just zip it off and on. See, this setup makes it easier, and I got play in it with that socket right there. See? Oh, yeah, it's off. And put that nut right there, the 17mm nut. And this is just a simple change. And you see the control arm bushing here is cracked, but like I said, I put the pry bar in it, and this bushing is showing like it's bent down like that because the wheel is off the ground. Take the wheel off the tire, everything's lifted up, so that's why it's bent down like that. But these can be pressed in and out, and I don't think the problem is from the control arm bushings. So you see the bushing inside of there. There's bushings at every corner of this control arm, and I don't think that's the problem because I've been prying up and on this, and it doesn't give any play. So I think the problem may be very well in these stabilizer links, and these are the sway bar bushings. As you can see, you just bolt those on and off, and you can bolt the bracket on and off. That one looks good, and the one on the other side as well looks good. So we're gonna see if this was the culprit with all the weight on the vehicle and hitting bumps and everything like that, and then with that bolt being loose inside of this stabilizer link here. I didn't even know that bolt was loose. I thought it was just the bolt itself. The top one still is kind of firm, but the bottom, you know, it's got a little play, and it's really not that bad. The main problem was probably just that bolt, and I probably could just tighten it up and see how we go from there. But since I've already got it off, just gonna go ahead and put some new ones on, and then we'll go from there. I just kept looking at this stabilizer. I'm gonna try something with this top one. See how it being so firm? I opened up, like I got this bottom one, the one that where the bolt was loose. I was moving it around trying to pull on it. There's no play in it, and it actually feels more firmer than it actually looked in the beginning. And then I opened up this boot a little bit, and I see it's got grease and everything down in there. I'm gonna put this back on before I put the new ones on. I mean, this is not a big deal. It's not a big item to replace, but if it doesn't need to be replaced, why am I gonna replace it? And with that bolt being loose like that, I'm gonna put this back on and tighten everything back up. I'm gonna tighten it back down. I see here with the indentures here, I can fit a 17mm wrench right around this bolt, and I can tighten it where that nut was loose. I can make it tighter, and I'm gonna put oil back in this car and drive it, and see if I have that sound again. I just got to do it. I got to try it before I replace it, just to see if, before I do anything else, just to see if that's where this thing was causing so much rattling. So that's what I'm going to try. And see, this is how I'm tightening this back up this time. I should have followed my first mind. At least I came back to it. That way I'll have a knowing if this was my only problem, or if this thing, now that it's tight, I can see the difference of what I've been hearing before I move to anything else. Sometimes when you're dealing with noises on a car, if it's not like blatantly obvious, you got to try stuff and replace stuff that's bad first. But being that this was loose, I didn't try that. I didn't try to tighten it up. Now that it's tight, the top is back tight, I'm gonna remove this wrench. Look at there. Remember when I would put my hand on it, and in the beginning of the video, I should have followed my spirit, but I'm coming back to it again. Like I say, remember when I was doing this in the beginning? There was nothing. There's nothing now, see? But in the beginning when I did this, I heard clink, 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 which is a noise I heard while I was driving. So now let's put this wheel back on, then I'll go get some oil, and we're gonna see if all of that, if that the loosing of that bolt caused all of that clunking. When I was coming home last night, I heard all of that clunking, clunking, clunking. So we're gonna see. You'd be surprised. And then I still got the brand new set, but it's nothing for me to replace stuff. I've got boxes of brand new parts just sitting around for this old car, right? They were at a discounted rate years ago, and so they're there. But if it was just the loosening of this bolt, wow. And I'm gonna keep an eye on that from now on as well. All right, so let's go get some oil, but let's put the wheel back on, go get some oil. Actually, while I'm actually down here, I'm going to go ahead and put this bolt back on. And then when I come back, I won't have to do that. This car is a 2010. My uncle was laughing at me last night. My uncle had me meet him out to, he was at something called Mayfest last night. And he was like, "You keeping that car that long time?" He was telling his friend, "That's my niece. don't never get rid of no car. Hey, look, if he's talking about me, he do the same thing. I get it from him. He talking something like, she told me she like her mama. They don't get rid of no car. But he the same way. I'm like my mama and my uncle. He don't get rid of his cars neither. And we all very frugal, baby. If we can save money, we gonna save $1. But if we got to spend it for something quality or get something done, then we gonna spend it too. But we all just alike. I said, that's right. I still got it. I'm gonna drive it to the door and fall off. All right, that's on. All filters on. I'm gonna get the oil. This is the oil I'm gonna use. 5 weight 28 casserole. Monte is acting like she is so exhausted. Monte. She's acting like she's really, really exhausted. We did stay out late last night. She was playing with our little cousins and enjoying them on the hoverboard. Okay. Now I'm about to add my oil. And this car can take 5 weight 20, 5 weight 30, or 10 weight 30. So I just went with 5 weight 20. I actually should have went with 5 weight 30, being that we're going into the summertime and it's going to be so hot. But I'll stick with 5 weight 20. Let's see if I can. I didn't pick up a funnel. I got some funnels around here, but let me see. I don't think I may need one. Let's see. Let's see if it doesn't seem like it's gonna spill out much. Get it? Oh, I got it. Okay. Yeah, I got it right there. This calls for 4.5 quarts. So what I'll do is, let that go down. So that happened. Good to say that I didn't have a funnel. I'm not using a funnel. So. Put about 1 quart in there so far. So let's start this again. Oh, my way some. Now, looks like I use about 4 quarts. So let me pop this off because where's my light? Get a light over here. Looks like I got a little bit that I wasted behind them. Oh wow, where did this screw come from? There's a screw back there. Wait, let me cover. Actually, let me wipe this around there. I don't want anything going inside. There's like a small screw sitting back there. That's weird. Let me go get something. I'm gonna see if I can use this little pick to get that. no one has ever worked on this car. And the engine, maybe I'll get it over there and I can get it with my finger. No one has ever worked on this car before. So, other than me, and not sure, this must have been here for years and I didn't see it. When I first bought the car, I used to take it to the dealer to get oil changes. A little small screw. That's weird. Don't know where that came from. And maybe, I think one time when I was replacing something, I lost a screw. Maybe that could have been, but I wasn't up here in the engine. It's just the coil packs and the spark plugs up here. So I'm not sure how that little small would have gotten in, because I think when I was replacing the alternator or something, I must have lost the screw, but I found it. So anyway, let me pop this back on. There we go. And let me check the coil. And it is not quite on full. Oh, but then again, I have it on these. Okay, I'm gonna roll the car off of the ramps. That way I can see where the oil is. Okay, let's try this again. I rolled it down without cranking it up. Oh, much better. That has come up some. But let's see. Let me try it again. I think I still need to add about half a quart, because this is showing right at just 4 quarts. So yep, I need to add a little bit more. Actually, it looked like from the stick, it looked like they could take it actually the remaining amount. Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up. Let's hope I don't waste anymore. Looks clean down up in there, up in there, up in there. I'm gonna use the whole, well, actually let me just use that amount to see first. Let me use the 4.5 first, but I think it'll take the whole 5. How much is that? That's just about a half a quart left in there. So let's see. Let's see what we have. Yeah, it'll take the whole amount. So I'm just gonna put the rest of this in there. There we go. It's not that much, because it's gonna be some, like it was just about right on full, but the filter, I put the filter in dry, so and put this top back on. Put this over here. And let me check it one more time. One more time. And we are full. Okay, yeah, we're full. So now I'm gonna take it for a test spin and see if I hear that knocking, that rattling again. Okay, now we're gonna go for a test drive in this thing And we're gonna see if I hear the clinking and clunking. It was so bad all last night. It started really getting worse last night, like progressively worse. And I guess that's because that bolt was loose. And it doesn't matter what speed I was going. I could be going slow speed, fast speed, every little type of vibration. And the thing about it is, what made you unsure is because it was all across the front end. You heard the noise. Stop that, Daniel, as if it was coming from all across the front end. But just by tightening that one simple bolt, all the issues is gone. So that tells me that was the problem. I'm so glad I didn't just go through the process of throwing those stabilizer links on like I initially started to do just because I had them. I'm glad that I just circled back and followed my spirit, because this is what the problem was, that one single bolt. Even though I saw where it looked like, oh, maybe it could be the control arm bushings, you know, or it could be, because last night when we got home, we got back kind of late, and the first thing that popped in my mind, I think my sway bar bushings are gone bad, but it's like rather suddenly. So when I came out and I saw the sway bar bushings full inside of there, they didn't, you know, they weren't going bad. And then when I put my hand in, I saw that play, you know, that kind of showed me exactly where the problem was, at the stabilizer link. But I still wasn't sure if that would have solved the problem. And sometimes that's what happens when you go to a mechanic. They give you the expert. At first, they take their time to try to diagnose it. But when it comes to noise, especially suspension noise, you're not really always certain. Sometimes you can be certain based on previous experience. But then there are times when you have to go through the process of elimination. And yes, there are a lot of dishonest mechanics these days. But then sometimes they can sincerely be going through a process of elimination, trying to correct the problem and finding other things that actually need to be replaced. In this situation, all the noise that I was having, like I'm going over all of these little small bumps and stuff, it's all gone. It's all gone. And so I guess that bolt was coming unloose, and as I continued to drive, it was getting worse, because the sounds that I heard last night were even worse than I heard earlier that day when I was driving to my destination. I was like, wow, it sounds like something's really about to just fall apart. And it was every bump I hit, all across. And I was like, I know it's not the wheel bearings, because I had already replaced the wheel bearing on that side. This one was good, so I double checked those as well. And then from the time that I replaced the wheel bearings last year, the wheel bearing, I never heard this sound. So this sound kind of just appeared over within the last week or so. So that's what it was. It was that bolt coming loose. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that. Hopefully that would help somebody if you ever run into that issue, and your problem may be different than this problem, but now you see how having a loose stabilizer bolt could cause so much clinking, clunking. And also, if the stabilizer links, which is what I took off, those little links, if they were bad, that could also cause that same type of rattling. Or if the sway bar bushings were worn out in there, when we looked at the sway bar bushing, if that bushing was becoming worn out inside of there, that could cause a lot of play. And the control arm bushings, where we saw there was stress on it because I had the car jacked up, but I had no play in the control arm bushings, and I don't have that sound after I tightened up that bolt. So it wasn't the control arm bushings. The sound was coming from that simple stabilizer, that lower stabilizer bolt that was actually becoming unloose, and I was actually able to loosen it with my hand. That was a problem. So we thank God that we made it home safely last night. We bind every spirit of tragedy. We bind every spirit of untimely death. No weapons formed against us shall prosper. I shall continue to live and not die. And I thank the Lord I found that problem. Y'all have a blessed day. If nobody has told you that they love you today, then you already know your little country bumpkin sister loves you. We are the light of the world. Let's don't never let our lights grow dark. Let's keep shining bright. And we know that the blood of Jesus Yeshua, our friend, our brother, our savior, Matzah the Lamb, his blood is the only blood that has power.